The Washington Post reported last week that homeless shelters in D.C. were filling up, and groups were getting overwhelmed by these buses that the governors of Texas and Arizona are sending here full of migrants. How significant is this influx? How many people?
Well, this is a very significant issue. We have for sure called on the federal government to work across state lines to prevent people from really being tricked into getting on buses. We think they're largely asylum seekers who are going to final destinations that are not Washington, D.C. I worked with the White House to make sure that FEMA provided a grant to a local organization that is providing services to folks. But I fear that they're being tricked into nationwide bus trips when their final destinations are places all over the United States of America.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw, which was Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser complaining about all the illegal aliens coming from the southern border and being dumped off into Washington, D.C., overwhelming their services as far as a homeless shelter and things of that nature. Now, I did a video about this back in April of this year where Texas Governor Greg Abbott said exactly what is going on now, what happened.
To help local officials whose communities are being overwhelmed by hordes of illegal immigrants who are being dropped off by the Biden administration, Texas is providing charter buses to send these illegal immigrants who have been dropped off by the Biden administration to Washington, D.C.
So I'm not really sure they took it as an idle threat, that it wasn't going to happen, that he was just blowing smoke and there was nothing to worry about. But they had time to prepare, at least a little bit of time, and now they are being overwhelmed. Do you think that I'm really sympathetic toward the mayor and the leadership? No, I'm not. Now, as far as the people in D.C., I'm not sure how it's affecting them. You know, how about regular normies that are out there falling hard on times? Are they able to get homeless shelter space? Are they able to get things that they need? Or how about just a regular person that's working, that's not homeless? Are you affected by all the illegal aliens coming to Washington, D.C. from the Texas southern border? I'm not really sure. But I think one thing that it is going to do is alert people that there's a problem, okay? Especially to the politicos, because let's say you're Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, whatever, you're hanging out in Washington, D.C., you're in Adams, Morgan, Georgetown, wherever you are. Then all of a sudden, here comes this whole big busload of people, and they're all over the place. They're spilling out of the homeless shelters, and now they're targeting you. That might be a problem. So you might want to do something to correct that issue. You see, it's easy when the border is very far away in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, etc. You don't have to worry about it. Out of sight, out of mind. When it's right there on your doorstep, now you got to do something. Now you want to complain about it. Now it's an issue, right? And then Miss Bowser, the mayor of D.C., talking about, oh, well, they've been lied to, all this and that. Like, I mean, what should they be told? They should be told to go back the other way, go back over there where they came from rather than coming here illegally. You see, there's a legal immigration process, and they should go through that rather than coming through the southern border however kind of way they want to. So they should go back over there rather than coming in here. He's talking about they're staying here, but it's not the final destination. They want to go to other places. That's the way it is in Texas as well. That's how it is in Texas, yet they're being overwhelmed. So if you guys in D.C. want to have the southern border wide open, all right, well, check it out. Rather than the border being open and Texas spend billions of dollars to deal with this situation, listening to you in D.C. who are controlling the whole situation on the federal level and have you guys deal with it rather than making us deal with it, you deal with it. So that'll be on the city leadership and that'll be on the politicos that they want anything to do with it. But maybe the politicos, they won't hang out in D.C. anymore. Maybe they go way out further into Maryland. Maybe they go to New York, California, and hang out there. Maybe they go to French Laundry again during the shutdown, during the whole mask mandate and things of that nature. Maybe they'll do that rather than worry about the illegal immigration problem. Maybe that'll be an issue that we got to deal with coming up here in the midterms. And I think that issues like this, where even Democrats are being negatively affected by the illegal alien just outpouring, the swarm of illegal aliens I think things like this are going to be a serious issue coming up in the 2022 midterms. Okay. The gas prices, that's already probably the biggest issue because everyone sees that. You may not see the illegal aliens. You may not see your homeless shelters being overwhelmed by these people. You may not see that in your particular town, your city, your state, wherever you are. However, you do see those high gas prices. You can't avoid that. Like in my truck, for example, just a personal story here. I knew that I was going to pay a lot of money for my truck. I got a gas guzzler, big Toyota Tundra, big full-size 8-cylinder. I knew that it was going to be a gas guzzler. I'm getting 15 miles to the gallon on a good day. If I'm driving 85 miles an hour on an interstate, I might be able to get that kind of gas mileage, but I digress. The point is that everyone sees the gas prices. I was paying $65 per tank at one point. Then that became $125 per tank. Now, everybody might not have my high gas prices, but it's going to affect people. Then they're talking about some buy an electric vehicle, out of touch statement. How am I going to buy an electric vehicle for like $45,000, $50,000, especially when they're on back order? You can't even really get one if you wanted one when my car is paid off and it's only worth like $5 to $10 grand. How am I going to get the extra $40,000 in cash or the credit to be able to pay for an electric vehicle? And why do I want to buy this vehicle and have another car payment when I don't have one already? It doesn't make any sense. Once you factor in the credit you got to have, the extra car payment, any kind of maintenance, if that battery goes out, it's a wrap. I just saw an article that said this young girl got quoted like $12,000 to replace her battery, which is worth more than the actual car itself. So with all those things going into it, you factor out the actual price per month to own it, to maintain it, etc. That's going to be much more than what you were paying on your 2005 Honda Civic, even with the high gas prices. This whole thing is just a big mess. 2022 midterms, these are going to be the issues: high gas prices, inflation. And if you live in a place like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California even, the illegal alien issue is going to be right at the top. And if you're living in Washington, D.C., and you're affected by the illegal alien issue, by the busloads being sent to your particular neighborhood, that's going to be an issue as well. So 2022 midterms, it's going to be a bloodbath for sure. And I think that if these issues continue up into 2024, that's also going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. And I think they see that coming. I'm not sure what they're doing to really fix that issue, try to rectify that problem. But what they're doing right now is more certainly not going to help. Miss Bowser going on television talking complaining about it is not going to fix the issue at all. So we'll see how it all plays out. But as I close, I'm going to say this. Shout out to Greg Abbott and all the state leaders for doing things that is going to help the nation go forward. You see, I know it could be a problem if you have a bunch of illegal aliens being dropped off in your neighborhood, but I think the whole DC thing is for a purpose, for the politicos to see it, for the country to see it, for the whole world to see it. So it's not just tucked off away, Eagle Pass, Texas, somewhere. It's right there on the steps of the Capitol building, USA. That's the way it should be. So it gets visible for the whole world. Everyone knows what's going on, and there's no confusion about the situation. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Texas Governor Greg Abbott's decision to send busloads of illegal aliens to Washington, D.C.? Was it a good move, bad move? Are you indifferent toward it? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. You guys should know where I'm at. I think it was a good move to get that attention you need, because the way it is right now in Texas, they're just suffering in silence for the most part. I mean, you see Border Patrol agents go on television and speak their piece. You may see Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz, Dan Patrick, etc. They go on TV and talk about what's going on. But how much does that actually do? You got to do a little bit more to get the ball rolling. Hopefully this here will get something cracking more than what it had been before, because the issue of illegal aliens, you have thousands upon thousands upon thousands coming across. You got drugs, you got guns, you got human beings being trafficked, sold into slavery of all types, underage, old ladies, everything in between. It's a really big problem, and it must come to an end, because if it doesn't, it's only going to get worse, and that's going to mean doom for the good old US of A. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.